Shocking twist, notorious Biggie secretly linked to Diddy's scandal before his death. Sean Combs just lost it completely after Christopher Wallace's secrets from the 1990s came crashing back into the spotlight, and you won't believe how bad it gets. Because this wasn't just betrayal. It was a setup. Right now, Diddy is fighting for his name, his brand, and his legacy. And the twist that's turning everything upside down? Christopher Wallace, better known as Biggie, wasn't just connected to the chaos. He helped create it. For years, the public saw Wallace as the tragic victim of street violence, while Sean Combs took all the heat for what went wrong behind the scenes. But hidden files, court statements, and behind-closed-door deals are painting a different story now, one where Wallace was the mastermind and Diddy was left to take the fall. Back in the early 90s, Sean gave Wallace everything. A record deal, a platform, protection. He took Wallace from a Brooklyn corner and turned him into a global name. But Wallace had his own plans. Behind Diddy's back, Wallace was striking secret deals, trying to break free from Bad Boy Records while still collecting the money and fame Diddy gave him. In one now-public message dated October 1996, Wallace allegedly said, "If Puff goes down, I still eat." That's not loyalty. That's betrayal. And that betrayal didn't end with just business moves. Leaked audio tapes, reviewed by legal teams earlier this year, show Wallace feeding sensitive information to outside contacts. These were the same people now using that info in civil lawsuits against Diddy. One of the tapes even includes Wallace discussing how to distance himself from Sean just months before his death. This wasn't just a friend trying to escape drama. This was a full-on plan to leave Sean exposed. Now, years later, that plan is being unraveled in real time. As new lawsuits stack up against Sean Combs, investigators are starting to look closer, not just at the people suing him, but at the ones who started the fire in the first place. And Wallace's name keeps coming up. In a federal filing from January 2024, attorneys referenced a deceased partner who played a key role in laying the groundwork for Bad Boy's business structure, one that now faces major legal scrutiny. While the name is sealed, insiders say it's Wallace. The documents describe how this partner misrepresented internal payouts, shielded assets, and used Diddy's name to sign off on shady transactions without proper consent. If true, that means Wallace used Diddy's face to build deals he never approved, and those deals are now being tied to criminal activity. That's not just deception. That's fraud. And let's not forget, the lawsuits Diddy is facing today, many of them are based on incidents that took place when Wallace was still alive. Back then, Wallace was right there, part of the operations, part of the decisions, and very much in control of what was going on behind closed doors. But when the pressure came, Wallace did what he always did. He vanished. Left Sean behind. Kept his own hands clean while painting Diddy as the villain. But now the truth is catching up. Major brands have pulled back from the Wallace estate. In April 2025, a planned collaboration between Wallace's family and a fashion label was suddenly canceled with no explanation. A documentary series on Biggies' rise was quietly removed from a major streaming service just last month. The reason? Legal teams warned them about Wallace's name being pulled into federal filings tied to fraud, misrepresentation, and internal sabotage. People are no longer seeing Wallace as a fallen legend. They're seeing him as what he really was, a calculated figure who used Diddy's empire, then tried to burn it down when things didn't go his way. Even the music industry, which once worshipped Wallace, is going silent. Radio stations have removed Biggie's tracks from some late-night playlists. Playlist curators are distancing his songs from legacy rap lists. This isn't cancel culture, it's consequence. Because while Sean is finally speaking out, Wallace can't defend himself. And the evidence is doing all the talking. Emails, audio files, studio logs. These records show Wallace manipulating business moves, altering release dates, and taking credit for music Diddy personally produced. He wanted the spotlight, but none of the responsibility. Now, Sean is using these same records to build his defense. In a civil trial set to begin this summer, Sean's legal team plans to introduce documents showing that Wallace intentionally misrepresented ownership of certain tracks, leading to financial confusion that triggered one of the lawsuits Diddy now faces. This isn't just about old drama, it's directly affecting court rulings today. Sean Combs isn't the villain in this story. He's the cleanup crew. He was left to pick up the pieces after Wallace's dirty moves caused the house of cards to collapse. And now that the courts are finally listening, Sean's side of the story is coming out. His legal team is working nonstop to prove that many of the business decisions tied to the lawsuits were made or influenced by Wallace behind closed doors. They're arguing that Shawn trusted Wallace too much, and that trust turned into betrayal. They've already had one key win. A judge ruled that Wallace's past involvement with label operations can be considered relevant in Diddy's civil case. That means more of Wallace's history is going to be dragged into court, and it's not looking good. Because for every story that paints Diddy as a mogul in decline, there's now evidence that Wallace helped push him over the edge. And Wallace didn't just betray Shawn, he betrayed the entire industry. He smiled in photos, made peace signs in music videos. But behind the curtain, he was calling the shots that would later crash everything down. He told producers one thing and lawyers another. He moved money through fake managers. He gave press interviews pretending to be Shawn's best friend while feeding dirt to rivals. He wasn't a victim. He was a player. And he got caught. But the final twist, he's still causing damage nearly 3 decades after his death. Because everything Wallace helped create is now being used against Shawn Combs in court. Every fake deal, every shady contract, every edited royalty slip, the paper trail goes back to him. And Shawn? He's not just defending himself anymore. He's telling the world what really happened. For too long, Wallace wore the crown while Diddy took the blame. But not anymore. This story is no longer about a hip-hop beef or a tragic death. It's about betrayal, corruption, and legacy. Wallace thought he was building a legend, but what he built instead was a trap, and now Shawn is breaking free from it, piece by piece. Christopher Wallace thought he'd destroy Shawn Combs, but it looks like he destroyed himself instead. And now, the truth isn't just coming out, it's taking over. Everything Wallace tried to hide is being exposed. Every lie he told, every move he made to undermine Shawn is blowing up in his face, even from beyond the grave. This scandal proves one thing. Legacy doesn't protect you from the truth. Wallace gambled with Shawn's life, his brand, and his freedom, and lost. Now, Shawn Combs isn't just surviving, he's finally getting justice. The court cases are ongoing. More motions are being filed every week. But one thing's for sure, Wallace's secrets can't stay buried anymore. The latest on Shawn Combs' trial, what you need to know. The spotlight on Shawn Combs has only gotten brighter this year, and not in a good way. The man once hailed as the king of hip-hop moguls is now fighting some of the toughest legal battles of his career. His most recent courtroom appearance shocked many, as new allegations surfaced accusing him of involvement in serious criminal activity tied to his bad boy legacy. While Shawn's team insists he's being targeted unfairly, the accusations have stirred a media frenzy and fueled countless rumors. Some say the case is a politically motivated attack designed to dismantle Shawn's empire piece by piece. Others speculate it's a power play by rival executives trying to take over Bad Boy's assets. What's undeniable is that the lawsuits are piling up fast. Multiple plaintiffs claim Shawn orchestrated or enabled trafficking rings, money laundering, and coercive business practices. Though these allegations are fiercely denied by his defense, the sheer volume has put Diddy on the defensive. Sources close to the case reveal that investigators are digging into Shawn's email correspondence from the mid-1990s, emails that were thought lost or destroyed. Among them are messages allegedly from Wallace himself, revealing their fractured relationship and Wallace's moves to isolate Shawn before his death. Some legal experts say these emails could become the smoking gun that finally clears Shawn's name or condemns him. Adding fuel to the fire, a recent leak from within the courthouse suggested that key witnesses who previously supported Shawn's innocence are now reconsidering their testimonies. Whether this is real or rumor remains unconfirmed, but it's enough to shake the case. On social media, the chatter is non-stop. Fans are split. Some rally behind Shawn, calling him a victim of an unfair system. Others are convinced the truth will come out, painting a darker picture of the man they once admired. But in the middle of all this noise, one thing is clear. Shawn Combs is not going down without a fight. His legal team has been aggressively filing motions to dismiss certain charges, demanding transparency on evidence that seems to have disappeared or been tampered with. They argue that many of the cases are built on hearsay, unreliable witnesses, and Wallace's decades-old schemes. What this means for the future of hip-hop and business. This saga isn't just about two men. It's about an entire era of hip-hop and the complicated legacies it left behind. Diddy and Biggie weren't just artists, they were empire builders. They shaped the sound, the culture, and the business of rap music in ways few can match. But their story is also a cautionary tale about trust, betrayal, and the cost of fame. If the courts find Shawn innocent of these charges, it could signal a major shift in how hip-hop executives are treated by the law and media. But if the lawsuits continue to pile up, it might end an era and damage Bad Boy Records permanently. Wallace's role, once heroic, is now under intense scrutiny, reminding everyone that even legends have shadows. For fans, this means rethinking who they support and how much they know about the stories behind the music. For the industry, it means digging deeper into contracts, finances, and the ethics of artist management. And for Shawn Combs, it means rebuilding from the ground up, fighting to clear his name, and showing the world he's more than just the mistakes made decades ago. Stay tuned for the latest updates, because this story is far from over. And trust me, the next chapter is going to be even more explosive.